I'm at North Olmsted, Ohio, Giant Eagle. Someone just stabbed a kid and a lady in the parking lot.
Screamed in the parking lot as we were parking or walking to our car, and we saw the kid.
Whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Matthew Waddy's channel. Today, guys, we got more of a little bit more of a sad video. Generally, I try to keep my channel really fun and make really interesting videos that kind of get people to laugh or think, or enjoyable collection videos, what have you. But today we're going to look at an incident that happened very recently and just absolutely pissed me off. And it's a reason why I'm an advocate for the death penalty. Monsters like this, well, the person we're going to take a look at today is exactly why you should not only have a death penalty initiated, but why you shouldn't have people sit on death row for 20 years, taking up taxpayers' money. Monsters like this should not go on existing. What am I talking about? Let's take a look at a few clips, and I'll go a little bit more in depth, guys.
One is dreadful. An Ohio woman facing murder charges after police say that she fatally stabbed a 3-year-old boy outside of a local grocery store. On Monday, 32-year-old Bionca Ellis, look at this, she was seen smirking at the cameras at her arraignment. Her bail was set at $5 million. And according to police, she not only stabbed the child, but also stabbed the child's mother as they were leaving the grocery store. The victim, 3-year-old Julian Wood, this is this precious little angel who died in what authorities are saying was a random attack, totally random, outside of the Giant Eagle grocery store on June 3rd near Cleveland, Ohio. Mom is still recovering from her injuries, and before Ellis's bail was set, little Julian's dad gave this very emotional statement in court.
That day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son or anything that my wife and I, even our other kids, are going through. It's horrendous.
Now, do you guys see that absolute horse shit? Bail set at $5 million. I don't care if it was set at $500 billion, okay? I'm trying to watch my language. How the hell do you give bail to a piece of shit like that, okay? When you think about the world's monsters, I'm talking about Mussolini and Stalin and Hitler, okay? Freaking John Wayne Gacy and Bundy and freaking Jeffrey Dahmer. Those are faces of monsters. This thing... This isn't a human being. This isn't an animal. This is a thing. There is nothing more. When I think of the faces of evil, that piece of shit right there is exactly what I'm thinking of. And you heard the news clips. It was completely random. She was up and down walking through a damn grocery store, okay? Big ass Jason Voorhees machete in her damn hand. Nobody says a thing to her. And that is what's so effed up about today's society, is people don't want to be labeled as being haters, being racist, anything like that, by approaching someone like, hey, what the hell are you doing with a knife in your hand walking around the store? And, even if she was buying that from the shelf during one of the aisles, right? You walking around the store with that in your hand like that, that's a little damn suspicious. But people, they don't want to say anything because they don't want to be on TikTok and YouTube being made fun of and being labeled Karens for the rest of their lives or racist for the rest of their lives. So you have to bite your tongue. You have to turn away and not pay attention to that. She finds a random mom with a small baby, starts following them. They did absolutely nothing wrong. Probably didn't even look in her direction. But she decides, you know what? I want to kill some damn white people today. And yeah, if anyone thinks that this is anything other than race-related, they're kidding themselves. You murder a goddamn 3-year-old baby. I don't even have kids, but I take an exception to someone who fucking hurts kids like that. Now, I'm kind of like anyone else in the sense that, yeah, you're watching America's Home Videos or whatever, and, 3-4-year-old babies. They're in like the little cars, little Tonka cars or whatever, and they start rolling, and then they end up going over a hill and they roll downhill. It has its humor to it because the babies aren't actually getting hurt. You know, it's a humorous instant, but not this right here. As someone who grew up surrounded in horror films, and as desensitized as I am in regards to watching movies like Saw and Halloween, Friday the 13th, all that, there is a huge difference between being desensitized to something that's make-believe, found in movies and TV shows, compared to real-life events. And then, furthermore, you look at this woman, not an ounce of remorse in her face and her eyes, big-ass smile, laughing. She is absolutely proud of her actions. When I say give the bitch a goddamn death penalty, do not hold back. Give retribution back to the family. It's already been proven that this woman is responsible for the death. I mean, there's freaking CCTV cameras all over the place. There's eyewitnesses. Normally when it comes to death penalty, you know, your people that are going to be against the policy are going to be like, well, what happens if this person was arrested for murder and they were actually innocent in real life, and now they've been convicted and now they've been sentenced to death, and now you're murdering or you're killing an innocent person. In a case like this, when there's not a shadow of a doubt, you know, this isn't something where, you know what, if she's convicted, puts on death row, she sits there for 18 years, 21 years, 25 years waiting to be put down. No, this bitch needs to be put down immediately. That freaking smile in the courtroom, that told me everything I need to know about this person, about her personality, her attitude, what kind of human being. No, I take it back. We are not calling her a human. We're not calling her an animal, because at least even animals have common freaking sense. This is a thing, and before I start saying some more things in anger, I'm going to go into the next clip because this woman really riled me up. So I'm going to pause here, guys, move on to a few more clips, and we're going to call it a video because god dang.
Yeah, anytime you're dealing with a child homicide, it's probably the worst case you could respond to. I've dealt with several, and I hated it. I hated the perpetrator. You get very emotional. You try to be professional, but when I see this woman's face, oh my God, she's just a monster. And it's hard to keep my composure just looking at her now. So I don't envy the task of prosecuting her. I'm sure they will, but just a lot of emotions when I heard about this case.
Oh, certainly, Detective. I mean, this has just rocked Cleveland, Ohio, and people all around the country and the world who saw this story. I mean, who hurts a 3-year-old? And there was no reason for it. They're pushing the mom was pushing the shopping cart to the car. They're in the parking lot. The baby's in the top part of the buggy, like they typically are, and then this is what police say happened for no good reason. Franz, to you next, please. Thoughts on what stuns you the most?
So this is all about context. They tried to arraign her 3 different times, twice on video camera and once in active court, which is where we see her smiling. The indigent defender says to the judge, look, we've previously represented her in another matter. We think she has a mental health issue. We think, and this is important, we think she hasn't received her medication. The judge continues to push. The calamity of errors here is they should have reassigned this arraignment and not done it here. And now what we're left with, if I'm defending her, what I'm left with is the optics of her smiling at the camera in active court, looking like she's a monster, where in truth, she might have a legitimate mental health issue. Not saying that excuses the behavior, not saying that makes her not culpable for the murder. I'm saying it's all about context, and moving forward in the arraignment in this manner absolutely hurt her, absolutely shouldn't have happened. Now look, Julie, it's possible she's faking. It's absolutely possible she's faking and doesn't have a mental health issue. But if I'm a defense attorney, that's how I have to spin it is this woman has a clear mental health issue. We have a history with her. We know she has a mental health issue, and her behavior in court shouldn't be admissible in a court of law at trial. And it also should be a factor in determining whether or not to seek the death penalty.
So this last guy needs to shut the fuck up. All right. I'm getting sick and tired of pansies, these little lefties groups being jackasses, blaming everything on mental health. Okay. There are a lot of people out there, you know, rape victims, soldiers who deploy and are engaged in, you know, active shooting, or they hit an ID, or that, you know, they witness their colleagues being blown up. Okay. Shit like that gives you definitely PTSD, and it gives you mental health problems. I've made multiple deployments as a soldier, contractor. I know what it feels like to have those different type of actions, type of feelings, where every time you have a damn spoon drop on the floor, you hear bullets basically coming at you, or crap like that, you know, as an example. But every single time some racist Karen goes on some tirade, anytime a brother shows up to his brother's wedding drunk out of his mind, anytime somebody cuts up people and then stores them in the freezer so they can eat them later, oh well, it's some kind of mental problem. You know what? It's not always mental problems. Some people are just born evil, and they get no other pleasure than simply hurting others. Don't blame it on a mental problem, because it takes away from those who actually do suffer from legitimate mental issues. Does some people have mental problems that makes them do stupid shit? Absolutely. In this case, looking at this woman's actions, oh hell no. And if she's going to try and play it off that I'm mentally unstable and that's the reason why you can't sentence me to death, oh, I'm instead rotting my ass in prison for the rest of my life, eating shit food behind, I don't know, 8-inch walls of cement, concrete. No, I'm going to be in a fancy mental institution where I have pretty much more of a laid-back environment. Absolute bullshit. I don't want you to hear about her mental problems. Everybody has their issues. It's just that other people choose to act on their compulsions a lot more than others. This is just kind of seeing a picture of that little boy, man. Like I said, guys, I don't have kids, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to be impacted one way or another whenever you hear somebody die. It's hurts when you hear an 80-year-old man who had lived a full life dies. You know, you may not know that person, but, like, you know, a loss of life is a loss of life regardless. And when you see little kids didn't even have an opportunity to live life and experience life, that's what hurts the most. And seeing this joker going to a courtroom, a big ass smile, no sympathy, no freaking remorse whatsoever. The father, when he's standing up in the courtroom and he's talking about the life of his wife, it sounds like his wife is going to survive, but that marriage is going to end. It's not that the husband and wife will stop loving each other or anything, but any time that there's some kind of significant event where a child is killed, maybe they're in a car accident or there's some kind of abduction or something, it usually dismantles the relationship, and a marriage that probably would have lasted forever is over. So you know what? This woman, the damage she's going, not what she's already done, but what she's going to be doing in the future, it's going to be ongoing. Someone like this, they need to be put down. And sorry. Trying not to be, I'm trying my best not to scream and curse and all that. But, I mean, what more can you say about a piece of trash like this? You know, if this person's family ever watches my video and, you know, they want to come at me or whatever, I'm sorry. But your daughter, your sister, whoever the hell this person is to you, she's a monster. There is no other way to describe a monster other than showing a picture of this person. So let's take some more clips and see what else we can learn about this imbecile.
Court TV obtained new video from the moments before what police believe was an Ohio woman fatally stabbing a 3-year-old boy outside of a local grocery store. Here's the surveillance video. 32-year-old Bionca Ellis enters the store with a knife in hand before she walks out of frame. It's moments later that she re-enters the frame and then follows the 2 victims out into the parking lot. She was then arrested and taken into custody, but after the victim, 3-year-old Julian Wood, was stabbed multiple times in what authorities are calling a random attack. The child later died due to his injuries, and Ellis was arrested. Her bail was set at $5 million.
That day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son or anything that my wife and I, even our other kids, are going through. It's horrendous.
Damn, my heart absolutely breaks for this man. With it just being Father's Day within this past week, and this happened at I think the 3rd of June, so a couple weeks before Father's Day, and to my knowledge, I believe this was his only child. So how effed up is that? Not only do you lose your son, I always look at your children. You know, your daughters are going to be your princesses, the ones that you never raise your voice to, that you always give gifts to. You know, their daddy's little girls type of deal. Your sons, you're always going to be super tough on them and hard. But guess what? For a father, there's nothing like having a son. That's your heir. That's the person that's going to carry on your life, your legacy, your family name. Someone that you can share your experiences with, you know, teach to play baseball, things like that. And this boy was 3 years old. This dad's never going to get the opportunity to do those things with his son. Now, if he had lost a daughter, would it have made any difference? Absolutely not. You know, your child is your child. Adopted, foster child, birth child. The fact is, they're yours. They're your children. You're going to love them. It's irrelevant what gender they are or in which way they came into your family as far as adoption and what have you. But like I said, I mean, this is his son. This is his blood. And you lose a sibling, it's bad enough. Your parents is terrible. You lose your wife, your kids. That's it. As a man, I mean, it's like, how do you don't want, it's not just so much as how do you carry on. The fact you don't want to carry on anymore at that point. I don't think people ever realize just how important a family is to men, especially when they start their own families. My family consists of me and my wife, but you know what? That's all I need. So, and when I see stuff like this, I'm kind of grateful that my wife had, said a long time ago that, she didn't want to have kids, because I don't know if I even want to have a kid living in this type of world. So, yes, having kids was always important to me, but at the same time, is this the type of crap that they're gonna have to grow up in? So, let's move on to the next clip, guys.
Hello, Miss Ellis. Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney? Have you received your indictment? Okay. Have you read it? You have not read it. Okay. We have a copy here. You can read it. You don't want to read it. Are you willing to accept that the public defender has read it to you? I'm sorry. You asked her not to. Well, but she did read it to you, correct? She didn't read it to you. Okay, well, we can read it in open court. Okay. It's a 10-count indictment. Count 1 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did purposely and with prior calculation and design cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. The state of Ohio reserves the right to seek a superseding indictment containing the appropriate 2929.04a aggravating circumstances specifications. And so you understand that means the state is reserving its right to add a death penalty specification. Count 2 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, that the defendant did purposely cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. Count 3 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did cause the death of J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1, and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, a child under 18 years of age, and furthermore, the violation resulted in serious physical harm to J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 6 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did attempt to purposely cause the death of Margot Wood. Count 7 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did attempt to cause the death of Margot Wood as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2901.11A1. Count 8 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to Margot Wood. Count 9 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did, knowing that an official proceeding or investigation was in progress or was about to be or likely to be instituted, alter, destroy, conceal, or remove any record, document, or thing with the purpose to impair its value or availability as evidence in such proceeding or investigation. Count 10 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did with purpose to deprive the owner, Volunteers of America store, of property or services, to wit, knives, knowingly obtain or exert control over either the property or services without the consent of the owner or the person authorized to give consent. I have now read the indictment to you. Do you wish to enter a plea of not guilty?
C.
Pardon me?
C.
What's same mean? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I understand the victims are represented and they want to make a comment before I set bond. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Could you start with your name?
My name is Jared Wood, father of deceased, husband of Margot. Your Honor, that day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son, or anything that my wife and I, even our other kids, are going through. It's horrendous. And I really wish no bail, period. or extend it to the max limit possible that you can, at the very least. Just do whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything else you would like to say?
That'll be it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there anything else before I pronounce bond?
Your Honor, we would just ask that you consider assigning the Public Defender's Office, recognizing this is not our number. We did represent her at the first appearance unit. I did meet with her on Friday. We have had contact with her family and begun working on the case. Thank you, Your Honor.
When the original bond was set out of Muni Court, the bond was set at $1 million, and it was before the passing of one of the alleged victims. I do not believe that bond is appropriate given the change in circumstances and the allegations that are contained in this indictment. Bond is set at $5 million, cash, surety, or property. GPS, no contact with any surviving victim or victim's family, DNA order. Judge is John Russo, pretrial is June 17th at 9 a.m. I'll assign counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so it does look like he did have more kids than just Julian. I thought Julian might have been his only child, but you have 1 kid, 10 kids, 1,000 kids. It's your kid. It's your flesh and blood. Okay, it's not gonna hurt any less. I didn't want to put the whole clip in there at the end there, but I kind of felt like the whole thing was necessary. I have no freaking clue what the hell that whole whispering bullshit was at the beginning. And, you know, she had no problem speaking up towards the end. So, and once a judge started reading off all of the crimes, everything, all the charges, that freaking goofy ass smile. And I hate the fact that the law protects criminals more than it protects or defends those who are innocent. Notice how right at the end, as the father was getting ready to speak up for her, speak up against her, they kind of whistle the girl off to the side, so away from him, so he can't attack her. I'm like, wow. I mean, let him beat her to the ground. Let him get a few licks in at least. Come on. If she happens to die, so be it. What kind of, you know what? It saves the taxpayers and the courts from having to do it themselves. And I also love that no matter how many people, how many news outlets are covering this story, nobody is calling it what it is. It's a freaking hate crime, okay? She walked into a store, walked past dozens of people, found a white family, which makes it a hate crime, okay? She found a couple, a mother and child, based on color. That's number one. Number two, she's also a freaking coward. Now, when you think about men who rape paraplegic women, they don't have the use of their legs. They can't move. They can't really fight back. It's cowardice. When men and women rob an 80-year-old grandmother because she's small, she's fragile, she doesn't have the ability to really fight back or anything, so she's an easy target. Or something like this. When you set out to murder someone and you go and you attack a mom with a small child. Why? Because more times than not, she's going to try to protect the child more than herself. So if you're coming down with those stabs, guess what? You're as a mom, you're probably going to be covering the body of your child and trying to protect them from being stabbed. So you're more about protecting them than fighting off the attacker. So this was just another cowardice movement. Attacking those who really won't have the ability to fight back, essentially. Now, she didn't go after some big bubba who would have effed her the hell up. No. So, everything I learned more about and seeing these stories and stuff, everything I learned more about this freaking Bionca Ellis. $5 million bail. Okay. You know, someone has a contracting company and I don't know, somebody falls from the scaffolds or something and they die. They throw the manager or the owner of that company in prison, and they get 20 years, no bail, anything like that. And it's a freaking accident. This is an intended hate crime where she attacks a mother, almost killed her, and stabbed the son many times and killed her and killed a 3-year-old baby, okay? And she gets bail. It doesn't matter whether or not she can afford to post bail. That's irrelevant. The fact that it's even an option is a slap in the face. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Bionca Ellis, to me, that name is going to be living rent-free, unfortunately, as one of the biggest monsters I've come across that I've seen in recent memory. And I'm hoping that I keep track of the story, because even if she gets life in prison, no, that to me is wasteful. Put her on death row and let her suffer the way that she should be. Don't fucking give her life in prison. Do not send her to some hospital to live out her life. She needs to know from the moment she enters prison until the time that she's carried out that her life is going to end soon. That's it for now, guys. The story really got me, and there's a lot of anger, but I think it's an important story. And I want to do my part to kind of spread the word. So if you guys were able to watch through to the end, thank you so much for supporting me, watching my videos. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, hearing your guys' opinions and your takes. And until the next video, guys, I'm going to try and go back to something a little bit more fun, something that'll brighten up people's days. So until then, guys, again, thank you, and goodbye for now.